Hey guys, what's up? Team 3D. It's Megan here. Studies of the day. Today's study was it's actually pretty shocking. Let me find it. I copied and pasted it over here. Okay, they found out that protein synthesis, they had two groups. One group was training at, they were trying to figure out, everybody knows you have to lift heavy to get big, but they were trying to figure out how heavy do you have to lift to get big and what's the threshold, meaning, let's say, what percentage of your one rep max, that once you cross, your body will stop making gains. Oh boy, not now, not making a video. Um, so pretty much they had people lifting at 30% of their one rep max. They had people lifting at 50%, people at 65%, 60%, 70%, all the way up to 90% of their one rep max. And they was trying to determine, who got the best results and at what threshold the gains didn't really change. For example, somebody lifting at 30, they realized that people that were lifting at 30% of their one rep max, after the studies was done, they made gains, but not as much as the people who were lifting a bit heavier. But the most important find I think was the fact that at 60% of your one rep max, once you start increasing, let's say there's a way that you could only, let's say your one rep max is 100 pounds, right? 100 pounds for, I don't know, fucking one arm row, 100-pound dumbbell. They found out that if you lift 30% of your one rep max, like which means 30 pounds in that case, you make gains for like only a certain amount of time, and after a while, it's not as much as the people lifting a lot heavier. And then they also realized that the people that were lifting at 60 and up were also making gains more than the people who were lifting at 30. But then they realized something very interesting. The people that were lifting from 60% of their one rep max, once you reach 60% of your one rep max, protein synthesis did not change as compared to people that were lifting a lot higher than 60. So they found out that the threshold is really 60%. Meaning, in a nutshell, if you have two people giving everything equal, and one person is lifting, they all have like the one rep max is 100 pound on the one arm row. One guy's doing 60 pounds, which is 60% of the one rep max. Uh, my math is all fucked up. Anyway, one guy's doing 60 pounds. The other guy's doing 100 pounds for one rep, and they'll go into failure. The one that was lifting at 60, it's not gonna make less gains than the one that was lifting at 75 or 85 or 95. Now, they found out that once you cross that threshold of 60% of your one rep max, the only thing that changes is your strength gains. Your strength gains go up, but protein synthesis, meaning pretty much which boils down to hypertrophy, the building of muscle, or the swelling of muscles, does not change a lot whether you're lifting at 60% or higher than 60%. Now, so pretty much the threshold is 60%. So if you're doing an exercise and you're really focusing on only having a muscular physique, you really don't care about strength, then there's no reason to lift any heavier than 60 to 65% of your one rep max. If you're looking for strength, you might want to lift, up to 90% of your one rep max. If you're looking for like both strength and hypertrophy, then you might want to stay in the middle, like 75 to 80% of your one rep max. But so that's to show that you really don't have to lift very heavy to make muscular gains. Now, if you want to make strength gains, then yeah, you have to increase your one repetition max. So for people that say, "Oh, you gotta lift heavy to build muscle," yeah, you gotta lift heavy, but how heavy? We just find out that you don't have to lift more than 60% of your one rep max. So I told you before, I was researching Ronnie Coleman a few years back, and I was looking at the weights that he was using. You guys know me; I'm like the Sherlock Holmes of bodybuilding, and somebody called me. So I was doing the little detective thing. I was looking at the weights that he was lifting. I realized he's always saying heavy weight, lift heavy, but he was always doing more than 10 repetitions, except for deadlifts. And he even mentioned in the video that he believes in lifting heavy, but more than 10. He says he never goes below 10. If he's going below 10, it's because he's either dieting or he's having a bad day or whatever. So he believes in higher repetitions with heavy weight. And I looked at the weights he was doing, and I put him in the software to find out what his one rep max was for all of his lifts. I'm talking about bent over row, upright row, every movement, because I watched all these videos, redemption, the cost of redemption on I forgot what the other one is called. But anyway, I watched all the videos and I looked at all the lifts he was doing, and I realized once I did the math, the whole fraction thing, I realized everything he was doing was always 9 out of 10. It was 75% of his one rep max. So when you see Randy Coleman doing his heavy ass bent over rows or lat pull downs, you think, man, that's so fucking heavy. It's only 75% of his one rep max. Because any weight you can lift for 10 to 12 reps is right around 70 to 75% of your 1 rep max. So almost never did Ronnie Coleman go above 80% of his 1 rep max when he's doing, like, his typical 4 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions. The only time he went really heavy, he said, below 10 was when he was doing deadlifts or when he was just trying to, break through a plateau. So that shows you right there that, you're lifting between 60 to 70% of your 1 rep max, you're still guaranteed to make gains as long as you lift pretty heavy. And if you're trying to, pack on overall size and strength and you want to lift like, like I said, 6 to 8 heavy, whatever, then you might want to go to like probably 80, 85%. But I just think it's an interesting study for those of you that were wondering how heavy do you have to lift. 60% of your 1 rep max and up. After that, any higher than 60%, you're not making any more muscular gains than somebody lifting at 90%. Alright, so hope the studies help. If you want to find the source, go to Google, Scholar.Google, type protein synthesis, 60%, 1 rep max, all that stuff. You'll find it. I'm just bringing the studies to you. Alright, that's it.